live. We're there for you. ABC4 News at 10 starts now.
And welcome to the ABC4 News at 10 o'clock. I'm Emily Flores. Glenn Mills has the night off. We thank you for joining us here tonight. We do begin with a weather alert. Snow falling, dropping temperatures. The conditions combined creating quite a bit of mess of the roads. This is what it looked like earlier at the Capitol this evening. Now, we do have team coverage for you tonight. ABC4's Courtney Johns has a look at road conditions where the snow is making things very slick out there. But first, let's head over to Chief Meteorologist Alana Brophy with the latest on this storm and the movement. Alana?
Emily, I'm live on the weather porch. We've got light snow falling, but our cold temperatures, see that? My breath really giving way for the snow to stick on the ground surfaces as well as accumulate pretty quickly. Here's a look at Redwood Road. Crews were working hard this evening as the snow started to come down. It did accumulate fairly quickly. This was surging from the south. It was a storm system that hit southern and central Utah throughout the day, arriving along the Wasatch Front this evening. As we take a look at our winter alerts, we've got a winter weather advisory in effect right now. This was posted this afternoon and will hold until 2 a.m. as this band of light snow does continue to impact the Wasatch Front. Now, we are looking at accumulations underneath this advisory, which includes areas south of Ogden all the way to Utah County. 1 to 4 inches expected in that area, and that's not a surprise as you take a look at what we're seeing temperature-wise. We are allowing that snow to accumulate quickly. Below freezing in Salt Lake, 20s in Cache Valley, 27 in Provo, where we know we've picked up plenty of snow. We've got cold temperatures throughout the rest of the state. A lot of 20s popping up in central and southern Utah, St. George, down to 36 where they saw rain, thunderstorms, and yes, even some snow in the higher elevations of Washington County. We do have road impacts through tomorrow morning because of the accumulating snow tonight. You're looking at the map, and where you're seeing yellow, you're seeing road snow and slush probabilities, which means that we've got cold temperatures and ice will be a hazard as we get through the rest of tonight until 2 a.m. when that advisory lifts, as well as heading into the morning commute. We will be drier by that time, but we know that the impacts will still be there with cold conditions and fresh snow on the ground, also anticipating some patchy fog. Now, this is just one of several storms that will be impacting us as we get through the rest of the work week and into the weekend. We're tracking all of them and what to expect coming up in my full forecast. Emily, back to you.
All right, a much needed heads up. Thank you so much, Alana. And let's head over for a check on the roads at this hour with ABC4's Courtney Johns, who's live in Salt Lake City. Courtney?
Yeah, Emily, I'm live over at Redwood Road, a street that you saw Alana Brophy show earlier of the conditions. And if you look down here, it probably looks like maybe an inch of snow, maybe 2 inches. It moves pretty easily. But these looks are deceiving. There are definitely icy patches out there. Just driving here, we slid a couple of times at intersections and stopping as well, just hitting those slick spots. So you definitely want to be careful out there. The conditions throughout the state range from slushy to snowy to ice on the roads. Now, the main areas in the metro that you want to watch out for right now, we're seeing issues on I-15 and I-215. Also to the west, Harriman was seeing some dicey spots on SR 85. Utah Highway Patrol says that they had about 80 crashes reported at last check, which is a little higher than usual. They say everyone needs to slow down. They say two trooper cars were actually hit today. That happened on I-15 in Juab. You can see some of the shots that they took of what happened. They say they were responding to a crash when a semi lost control and hit the two cars when they were already responding to a crash in that area. One of the troopers was in the vehicle and had minor injuries, but we're told he's at home tonight with just a few bumps and scrapes, fortunately. So since the time that we've been out here for the last 15, 20 minutes, we did see a couple plows go by, but UHP says that they're still concerned about a lot of this refreezing in the morning. So they say set your alarm clock early so you have plenty of time to make it into work tomorrow. Reporting live in Salt Lake City, Courtney Johns, ABC4 News.
All right, Courtney, thank you. We appreciate it. Well, one woman hospitalized after a crash on I-215. The Utah Highway Patrol saying a car rolled over on the southbound side of the freeway, blocking traffic. Crews had to shut down the on-ramp to pull the driver out of the car. No word on that woman's condition. And new developments tonight in the case of 4 University of Idaho students murdered in a home near campus. Today, Moscow police began removing personal items that belonged to the victims from the home, items that were no longer needed as part of the investigation. Police will take them to a secured spot so the families can grab their loved ones' things. The chief of police reassuring his team is doing everything they can to find the killer.
You know, we have a job to do, and I said yesterday that we're going to do our job. We're going to do it to the best of our ability, and we owe this to the family, we owe this to the victims, we owe this to our community. So we're going to continue on.
Also today, police released information about a car seen near the home in the early morning hours of the murders. Now, these are not the exact car, but a similar model to the white 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra that police are looking for. Officers believe the person or people inside may have critical information that could help solve the case. And police here in Utah also looking for some help to solve a deadly hit-and-run crash in Provo. Take a look at these cars. One, a dark four-door truck, the other, a dark crossover SUV. 21-year-old Isabel Parr was fatally hit by a car while jogging last week, and that driver took off. They think the people in these vehicles may have witnessed that crash. So if you recognize the vehicles, please email police at the address you see there on your screen. And tonight, family reacting to the sentencing of the 15-year-old shooter who killed 2 teens and injured another near Hunter High early this year. Now, the 15-year-old shooter pled guilty to 3 charges, including manslaughter. He will stay in juvenile detention until he turns 21. Now, we spoke with a cousin of one of the victims who says the sentencing is not a harsh enough penalty, saying it's essentially a slap on the wrist.
We didn't see it necessary for him to be put away for life, but we did want to see a consequence that would kind of make us get closure with what happened.
Now, there have been claims that the victim bullied the shooter. The victim's cousin saying the school should have dealt with those claims earlier so that no student felt the need to bring a gun to school. There's a vigil for the victims tomorrow at 3 p.m. You can find more details about that on our website, abc4.com. And Gabby Petito's family wants to add her killer's lawyer to the lawsuit against his family. Their legal team filed a motion to add attorney Stephen Bordolino to that suit. They claim Brian Laundrie's family and the lawyer knew he had murdered Gabby but didn't help the investigation. And today, December 7th, marks the 81st anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor. People across the country and right here in Utah honoring the memory of those lost.
Fire.
Much respect. Well, in Ogden, veterans and police officers threw red flowers into the Ogden River. That's what you're seeing here to symbolize the blood spilled in Pearl Harbor. More than 2,400 people were killed in the attack. We spoke with a World War II veteran who was just a teenager when the attack happened.
When I do these things, I don't do them because of me. I'm doing it for the guys that never made it home, because there's so many of them.
John Cole, who you heard from, served in World War II and the Korean War. He would eventually receive a Purple Heart for injuries he suffered in combat. And a South Jordan neighborhood coming together tonight to help students in need. This is an annual tradition called the Charity of Light. Neighbors in an 8-block area all put candles in front of their homes and fill donation bags. They include things like new coats, hats, and gloves. Donations will go to students in the Jordan School District. Organizers telling us the event started during the pandemic.
During COVID, it was just to get people out and being able to see Santa. And so we thought as a neighborhood that why not do a charity and go door to door and light a candle and share our light. And that's why it's called Charity of Light.
All right, this is the 3rd year the neighborhood has gathered donations for charity. Coming up next on ABC4 News at 10, lawmakers finally come to a deal to fund our nation's military, the key point that had to be addressed before the two sides could come to an agreement. And still ahead, the triple-demic rages on, what doctors say you need to do to protect yourself from a range of illnesses this holiday season.
Plus, we've got snow falling along the Wasatch Front. Live look at Utah Lake, where it's been coming down for the last little while. And this is southern Utah, where the snow was falling earlier today. Cedar City picking up accumulating snow, where this band is headed and tracking our next storm in Utah's most accurate forecast.